I want to welcome Dr. Jennifer Conrad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks for coming.
I'm Dr. Glenn Mayer from Abel Animal Hospital at 6032 Northwest Highway in Chicago. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about laser surgery and our laser surgery unit.
Hi, I'm Dr. Stram from Elk Grove Pet Clinic, and I just wanted to discuss feline declawing with you.
This is Dr. Lyle Brumley. I'm the owner of the Foxmore Veterinary Clinic in Aurora, Illinois. At this point, I'm going to talk about declawing.
I'm Dr. Sharan at the Animal Clinic of South Elgin, and I'd like to talk about declawing of a cat.
Hi, my name is Dr. Glenn Ephraim at the Oakton Animal Hospital in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. I've been here for about 23 years now and have declawed many cats. Today we're going to talk a little bit about declawing of cats.
Well, unfortunately, the vets aren't following the AVMA or the American Veterinary Medical Association guidelines, which state that declawing should be the absolute last resort after training has been tried, after scratching posts have been tried, after soft paws, which are nail caps, have been tried, after double-sided sticky tape on the furniture has been tried, after everything else has been tried, then declawing is the last resort. But that's not what they do. In fact, if you go on the internet, as we discussed, you can find declawing coupon, and all these people are offering declawing right without offering all these alternatives. The other thing that I think is very interesting is I know many vets who would say, I won't declaw a cat who's over 1 year old. Well, most of them enjoy to declawing a cat who's less than 4 months old. A 4-month-old kitten is a baby. A baby. It hasn't had a chance to learn what's right.
We like to get them in at a very young age, either 11 to 13 weeks or 3 pounds, whichever comes first.
We want to declaw as young as possible. The younger a cat is when we declaw, the faster the healing process. I do have a problem where people say, well, I'm going to wait and see if my cat is destructive, and if they are destructive, then I will declaw them. So I think we need to recognize that most cats, it is a natural behavior to claw things. So if we take care of that early, just like we do spaying or neutering, doing it at a young age, we're actually being much more humane to the cat and creating a very positive relationship with our cat.
First of all, I'd like to say that it's a lot easier on your kitty to declaw it when it's probably 10 weeks old and maybe weighs 2 pounds at least.
Now, why would the vet need to recommend it? Maybe he needs to go buy a boat or something.
Well, unfortunately,
it's very lucrative, isn't it?
It's very lucrative. It's very profitable. There's very little overhead involved, and it takes about 11 minutes to declaw a cat, and the average vet is making something like $1,200 an hour doing it.
We have found that many hospitals charge a base price for standard declawing, and if the client would like to have their pet declawed via laser, there's an upcharge for that, and in many cases that is a substantial upcharge.
And you mentioned before about laser. Some of them are doing it with laser.
Well, laser costs $45,000, and it gives a vet 45,000 reasons to declaw cats, but it is no less painful. And there's 2 articles in the veterinary literature. One says it's just as painful as the blade. The second one says it's more painful because of 4th-degree burns. 4th-degree burns means burning bone.
Use this instead of a scalpel blade. We do have to clean out what's called the char or the burn area. We do put a bandage on in order to help with with any bleeding that might occur. The pets do stay overnight, but again, there's less bleeding, and the laser also seals nerve endings, so there's less pain.
What I don't like about it is the laser seals the edge of the skin by burning it, and it does seal it so the edges don't bleed, but by burning the edge of the skin around that toe, it also delays the healing of the declaw site.
The laser, it does cut, and you can see it does make that cut, and it does it by vaporizing anesthesia and a tranquilizer, so the pet is not completely sedated, and there's much less bleeding and much less pain.
There's several different methods for declawing cats. There's a method called the rescue technique, which basically the animal is anesthetized and a rescue nail trimmer is used to chop the nail off of the paw. This is a guillotine type nail trimmer, and in my opinion it is a crude way to declaw an animal. It makes a good size hole, and although it's sharp, it's not as sharp as it should be, and it does probably a good deal of tearing and not enough of a cutting motion. And I believe that it probably isn't as good a method as just using a scalpel, which is the third method that is used, is a scalpel dissection. That's the method I like to use. The animal's anesthetized. We put a tourniquet on each limb, the limb we're going to declaw, and I use a scalpel just to make an incision in the skin, and I retract the skin back and cut the 4 teeny little ligaments that hold the claw on, and then the claw is just removed after that.
When we remove and do the declaw, it's a total resection of the third little digit on the paw. That means that we go down between the two little bones, the little last bone that holds the nail and the bone right behind it. We don't cut through bone, we cut between bone. And when we do that, it's a lot less painful because you're not really breaking or cutting through a bone.
Why do people think this is a good idea?
Well, I think the veterinarians succumb to the emotional blackmail, the idea that if they don't do this, the cat is going to the pound.
The thing is that if a cat is destroying the house, if the cat is hurting people, those are good reasons to get it declawed, because we want the cat to stay in the home. We want the cat to have a happy house.
Many cases where people have come in and it's a case of we either declaw their cat, and even though that cat might be 10 years old, these folks have just gotten new leather furniture, and they don't want to take the chance that the cat's going to chew it and or scratch the tar out of it. So I will do the cats older, especially under those conditions. I know that the older, the heavier the cat, they do walk a little bit slower, and they have a tendency not to want to jump down from the counter or from a chair.
But we've done this many times with older cats in salvage situations where people get a cat and they can't keep the cat if it has all its claws because their landlord or their housing situation will not allow it. We will go ahead and declaw these cats.
Creating a positive relationship where your cat is going to be a success in your home requires that your cat does not do destructive behavior.
The best thing would be to educate the owner and say, you know what, declawing is going to do all these problems. Let's try all these other things. And if they don't work, we'll find a new home for the cat.
But I think that declawing is very beneficial, especially, with today's cost of furniture and the equipment that we have in the house and things. I know that I did it to my cats.
If you know people who have declawed cats, including myself, they're very healthy, happy pets, and don't have any permanent psychological or other problems with being declawed.
The thing that I really, really find so disgusting about declawing is that we have no idea the gratification that a cat gets from that stretch and that kneading, and to deprive them of that, we have nothing in our lives that's similar to that. So, but depriving them of that is so awful to think that gives them such pleasure. How
Yeah.
could we deprive them?
With declawing, my feelings on declawing is that it's an individual decision.